So they're out, so they don't.
Sorry, we're a little clunky tonight, but it's unusual.
We're making it work.
Awesome.
Okay.
So we'll need to mute
Oh.
the speaker on that. Just click down there.
Oh.
Click on that.
There we go.
Okay.
Okay. We are live.
You, Mr. Chair. All right.
So.
Well, thank you for joining us tonight for the Meridian Parks and Recreation Commission meeting for the month of November. We will go ahead and start with the roll call. Rachel?
Doc Gelfamino,
Present.
Jennifer Bobo is absent, Mandy Robert. Present. Joe Greer,
Present.
Terry Dennington,
Is coming.
okay. Bree Sandow is online, Alan Helm,
Here.
Torrin Taylor.
Here. Perfect. The quorum being present, we'll move on to the adoption of the agenda. May I have a motion for the adoption of tonight's agenda?
Mr. Chair,
Commissioner Greer,
I would like to make a motion to adopt the agenda.
a motion has been made. Do we have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Helms. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So ordered. Approval of the minutes for the October 8th, 2025 regular meeting. We have a motion for the approval of the October 8th meeting minutes.
Mr. Chair,
Commissioner Greer,
I'd like to make a motion for the approval of the minutes of October 8th.
a motion has been made. Do we have a second?
I'll second that also.
Seconded by Commissioner Helms. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Or all right, we will go ahead and move on to announcements. We are happy to welcome our newest youth commissioner, Torrin Taylor. Torrin joins us from MIAC, as we like to do is, recruit some of our MIACers to move on into serving other members of other forms of service and community service throughout the city. Torrin, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Yeah, my name is Torrin Taylor. I go to Meridian High School. I'm a junior. And I've lived here for about 12 years now. And I've been working at the pool for about 2 years as well. And I just love Meridian and want to get involved in the community and help it out. So
Do you have a favorite park?
probably Settlers Park, because I'm like right next to it. So I go there when I was a kid all the time.
Nice. Well, welcome to the commission.
Thank you.
You swim?
Yes.
He's just there.
I mean competitively.
I'm not competitive.
Oh, okay.
Upcoming events, we have our very own Shelley Houston.
Hello, commissioners. Once again, I've kind of updated your list of upcoming events. You know us, we're like, happy Halloween, salute to the veterans, Merry Christmas. We're just like dancing as fast as we can. In the meantime, though, we did squeeze out a brand new issue of the activity guide. We call it winter/spring. So this just got posted today at meridiancity.org/activity guide. It's got all of our classes and camps and activities that take place during the next several months. And so these classes are the ones that begin mostly in January, February, March, and then in April, we'll have another activity guide. So this will last us 3.5 months. So this is out now. That makes us happy. Like I say, I gave you the list of activities. Those big recycling leaf bins are still in the city parks. I know they're getting heavy use when I drive by Collider Park. It's all like, so I know Republic Services is dancing as fast as they can to keep it tidied up, but it's a chore. There's a lot of leaves. So anyway, that continues until December 11th. Those big dumpsters will be in several of our city parks.
And anything we can do to encourage people to not leave them in plastic bags,
Yes.
the better. I'm talking with
Don't
public
believe right.
services.
But either
Yeah, they can be
so
in
paper leaf
paper leaf
bags
bags.
or loose. We want to avoid boxes and plastic bags.
Yeah.
Also avoiding vacuum cleaners, microwaves, broken office chairs, and the other goodies that they give us. But anyway, people are making a good faith effort. So that's part of Recycle the Fall. There's a great new exhibit in Initial Point Gallery. My favorite piece is this giant cow collage. It's hard to explain, but really next time you're over, it's called rock, paper, scissors, wood, and it's really cool. So there's a cool exhibit. It'll be on all this month through November 28th. Then it's time for us to put up Santa's mailbox, to start our angel tree toy drive and put up the tree in the lobby. That'll all happen on the 24th. Then we're on to the Winter Lights Parade, which many of you are gonna be riding the float. This year, we're combining the Parks Commission and the few city councilmen who are available because they had quite a few of them that had other obligations. So instead of sending two half-empty floats down the street, we want to make one big festive one. And again, we have that little two-piece little rock band, those two cute brothers with floppy hair, Red Light Challenge. They're gonna provide music. So it'll be a hippin' and happening float. And then the Children's Winterland Festival is our final event on December 13th. We do it over at the Meridian Home Court. And so Christmas in Meridian, the poster this year kind of has a train theme, kind of like Polar Express, but not. So anyway, there shows the little Meridian, the old train station, and the train coming through town with the M on the front. If you get a closer look, it's very, very cute. And there's the Heritage Building. So we've given a few little winks. Hard to believe, but tomorrow we're gonna harvest the big Christmas tree and drive it into downtown and put it up in Generations Plaza. So Christmas will not wait, and neither will we. Any questions, comments, concerns? Yes, ma'am.
What time are we to report to arrive to get on this float? Just to
Okay.
confirm all that, yeah.
The parade technically begins moving at about 6:50, but
Okay,
I would think you would want to find your float by maybe even
Between 6 and 6:30.
6:30.
You know, don't be any later than
so
6:30.
get to like that chamber office by.
Not the chamber, the
Okay.
pool
Swimming
office.
Sorry.
The swimming pool office is gonna be open for you guys to hang out, and then you can go out and get on your float. And I'll let you know, like, oh, you guys are float number 4 or float number 6, so you'll know where in the lineup you are, but. Okay, the hardest part is getting to the park, finding parking or getting dropped off and finding where, give yourself plenty of time, because it's a little cray.
Okay,
So,
6 p.m.
yes, yeah, do your best to hustle your buns to get there. And it should be fun. If you have any worries between now and then, or you need me to reiterate, just let me know, and I will put out an email that lets you know where you are in the parade number. We usually try to put you near the front. And this year it's gonna be live streamed. We're working with the chamber and we're gonna fancy it up a little, so. Anything else? Are we good for now? Okay, thank you. Party
Thank you,
on.
Shelley. All right, next up is the announcement for Parks and Recreation Commission leadership elections in December. So as many of us, well, as we know, the elections for leadership of the commission happen every year, once a year. That way we have the opportunity to give everybody a chance to serve in leadership position. The bylaws dictate that the vice chair receives an automatic nomination for chair. And then that would mean, of course, we would need a candidate for vice chair. So as you know, we get closer to the December meeting, we would love to start getting some ideas of who would like to serve as the vice chair. And, you know, of course, Bree would be automatically nominated for chair. So yeah, just let that seed grow in your mind.
Let Dawn know, let us know that you have an interest in.
Mr. Chair,
Yes,
for the record, you might want to note that
Oh.
Commissioner Bennington is here.
oh, yes, thank you. Commissioner Bennington is here.
Oh.
We're not the only one.
Well, our next item is the all commissions goal brainstorming in December, with Steve Sidaway.
Sure. So, also in December, we always do our annual goals brainstorming. I think everyone knows, except probably for Torin, the process, but we have a little spreadsheet voting process. Don't need to worry about that tonight, but you can see the current all commission goals on your current agenda. It's at the bottom. There are 10 of them. Just ask you to review them, and you can email me with any changes that you would like to see in terms of either deletions, changes, or additions. What I will do is then aggregate any feedback that I get between now and December, and I'll bring that as a draft. It's still open for discussion, so those still have an opportunity to make changes come December, but we like to come with a draft that's we're ready for your review and discussion. So if you will send me any comments that you have over the next couple weeks, I will then compile those along with any of our thoughts as staff and bring those to you for the December meeting. And then we will kind of run through that process and establish the updated commission goals for 2026. Any questions about the process or what the goal is? Okay. Yes.
Chair.
Oh.
Yes, Commissioner
You
Rex.
know, So Steve, just to confirm, we're free to suggest new topics, circles?
We can.
Okay, very good, thank you.
Yeah, if you have any topics you'd like to suggest as a goal,
Right.
you can get those to me as well. Yeah. We'll have to get you afterwards if that's all right, okay? Any other items on the issue goals? Okay,
I do have a question
Yes.
regarding number 9, was the Meridian pool. It doesn't mention anything about the capital improvements. I thought there was some capital in there just repair expenses out there this year, or is there any capital expenditures?
not in terms of major capital expenditures. There were some heavy maintenance items. They repaired some of the starting blocks. They repaired the backup pump,
Right.
things like that. So, and we will have a pool update for you. They just closed this last week, believe it or not. So they run until the first week in November, and the pool is now closed for the swim teams and everything. The public use ends in August, but the swim teams continue through October. So anyway, with that now wrapped up, we'll in the coming months, probably not in December, but early next year, we'll invite Willow to do a pool update.
Okay.
Yes, Commissioner Danny.
I guess my question, and maybe I'm just spacing out, this could be another head start here, is on the arts master plan. I know that was something that was in the budget.
Yep.
For them to do, and is that already done or in the?
Not
middle of
done.
that?
The consultant's making a presentation to Friday, I think, to the Arts Commission.
Oh, okay.
So it is,
Alright.
was it tomorrow? Oh, it is tomorrow. Friday is HPC. There's 2 master plans underway. The arts master plan is being presented tomorrow. You're welcome to tune into that.
Yeah.
And the historic preservation plan will be presented on Friday
Perfect.
to the Historic Preservation Commission.
Thank you.
Yes.
We do not have any old business, new business. Our first presenter is Net Parks and Recreation update with their director, Cody Swander.
Yeah, thank
You have
you.
a PowerPoint?
I don't, and I apologize, everybody. I came ready I put time into this PowerPoint presentation, then I'm not able to access it, so I apologize. You still want me to continue with
Yeah.
my information, and then I would be happy to email that to, I don't know, Rachel or Steve, and then hand out to the rest of the commission if that is, if that works. Yeah, I mean, so I've been working on it, so I think I have most of the information here in my head, but I was asked to talk on 2 different topics. One, pathways in Nampa and the connectivity to Meridian specifically, and what we've been doing with those. And then to talk about some just capital improvement projects for Nampa Parks and Rec for our fiscal year 26, which we just started in October. So our pathways are, they're folded under Parks maintenance team. I have a Parks and Grounds manager that oversees maintenance of the parks, and included in that is the pathways. We don't have anybody specific to pathways, and so we kind of take a team approach as it comes to pathways in Nampa. We also get a lot of help from our Public Works Department that assist with some of the grant writing and some of the grant administration that happens to build some of our pathway systems. We have a master plan, and it sort of started loosely, I don't know how many years ago, but we got a formalized master plan, the first one in 2011. City of Nampa hired Alta Design to do that original plan. And it was kind of just laying a spaghetti map across the city on where we thought pathways needed to go. And it really included a lot of on-street improvements. It wasn't just off-street pathways, so bike lanes, we call them side paths, different things that might look like an attached sidewalk or detached sidewalk along a roadway, we call a side path over Nampa. And then it did include some of our off-path or our off-road pathways as well. And then that was updated. We updated that in 2020, and that's the current version that we're using now. And I do have access to that if we want to show kind of what that spaghetti map looks like. It's on just our city website, so I was able to get that access through your computer. So, like I said, it sort of looks like just a spaghetti design, or throw spaghetti on the map there. But one of the things we recognized in Nampa is that we don't have like a premier pathway, sort of like Boise does with the Boise River Greenbelt. We really looked at just waterways that bisect and cut through our community, and felt like probably one of the better ways of accessing was working with our irrigation districts, property owners, thank you, and looking at this kind of utilizing some of the pathways or some of the waterways. We have a master agreement with Nampa Meridian Irrigation District, which is roughly 3/4 of the city that they overlap. The other big irrigation district in Nampa is Pioneer Irrigation District. We have a third one that's kind of smaller in our southwest corner, that's Boise CUNA Irrigation District. But with Nampa Meridian, we have a master agreement that allows us to put our urban pathways right on top of their maintenance easements. And it's worked out really, really well. I think in the early days in 2011 and before, they were a little apprehensive about pathways being on maintenance easements, because they sometimes have to bring in tracked equipment to do repairs and things on their ditches. But over the years, we've proven that we'll let you come on in and tear up the asphalt if necessary to do your repair. And we don't come back to the irrigation district asking them to repair it or pay for it. The city takes care of that. So I think over years of having a good relationship with them, it's worked really, really well. And then we also have like a rails to trails, an old rail line that's been converted to a pathway. Looking ahead, we've had some exciting advancements. An important aspect to make known is often in Nampa, since I've been kind of in leadership role, we don't really get a lot of budget funding toward pathways. For example, impact fees is a big driver for our capital projects, but we've made a conscious decision to not utilize impact fees to build pathways. And the reason for that is we don't want the developers to come back asking for exactions on pathways that they build. We want their impact fee dollars to go into our parks. And so we have really relied on a lot of grant wins, awards to get these pathways to be going forward. One that we just completed this last year is what we call the Grimes pathway, but in the area that we completed it would be probably the pathway that would be known as Rails with Trails, if that were to ever happen. We're just outside of Union Pacific's easement along, along the Grimes Drain, kind of in northwest Nampa. And that, we're able to do a nice section of pathway along there. Our master plan discusses all the building and construction standards that the pathways are built to, and so we can follow that ourselves. And then the other thing that we do is we get a lot of our pathways through our planning and zoning process when development occurs in Nampa. So the subdivision is going to turn a field into a subdivision, and that is adjacent to one of our master plan pathways. We are asking for a 20-foot easement from them and for them to build a pathway to the standards and the design. And it's been successful. The downside is you kind of get your pathways and starts and stops because the development touches this portion of an area, but not this portion. So now we've created this gap. That's been frustrating for the community in some regards, but in the long term, Nampa just knows we don't have the funding to build the pathways ourselves. And so that has been a successful approach. And as these developments continue, especially in North Nampa, to just explode, they're coming together quickly is relative. I know for the homeowner that lives there, it's not quick enough, but over a few years' time, we've seen where we have a couple miles of pathway. One of our big ones that we're working on now is called our Ore Pathway, and it follows the Ore Drain in West Nampa, connecting Wilson Pathway to the north to Edwards Pathway in the south. And a lot of this is another one that's grant funded through LTAC, and we are just blessed enough to have successful grant writers that can help us achieve that. As we move west toward Meridian, I've talked with Kim about things on where those pathways line up. I think she's aware of this master plan online. Everybody can see it. It's out there for everyone to look at. But some of them, as you look to the north, there's the Boise River Greenbelt. Believe it or not, currently Nampa's impact area touches the south channel of the Boise River way up there. It's kind of like a little panhandle, I guess, of our area of impact that touches up there. There's the 9-mile drain, there's the 10-mile drain, there's the Purdom, but the Purdom is a difficult one with the Highway 16 coming in. There's this giant freeway light highway kind of coming in on our west edge, and how do we get under that or over that? And so those are some of the connective points we looked at. To our south, I'm not sure where Meridian's lines are. They may be CUNA, that some of our southern, like the Elijah Drain and Indian Creek are heading toward, I would think, might touch CUNA before Meridian. Or if they do touch Meridian, it's just yeah. So is that the case? And those Indian Creek and
A lot of us have south, I'm not familiar with Elijah, so, yeah.
Okay.
Do you know 5 mile? I was looking on your map. I could find 10-mile creek, but does 5 Mile Creek, that's one of our major ones in the north.
We don't have 5 Mile Creek. We have 9 mile and 10 mile. We have one along Joplin, if you look at that, and that, if you look at some of these roadways where they kind of just are a straight shot. Some of our ditches do run like that, and that's just the way they look. And others, they might just be idealized as a separated side path or something along the roadway. And I'm not sure on Joplin. Our development just isn't that far north enough for us to have that level of detail decided on the pathway. So as these plats come into Parks and Recreation through the planning and zoning process, our department looks at them, and that's when we get to the nitty gritty of what side of the drain do we really want to be on. Right now, in this format, we don't necessarily have it called out specifically. We want to be on the north or the south or the east or the west side. And a lot of that is just based on the obstacles and the reality of which side makes the most sense to build a pathway on. Back in the old days, Nampa would ask for land deeded and dedicated to the city for the pathway. So we would ask for 20 feet, the city would own that. What that resulted in is a lot of weed abatement and a lot of weed control, because we aren't putting irrigation and landscaping along most of this area. What's we have found and we've adopted as of, for maybe 8-10 years ago, a while now anyway, has been this acquisition of an easement, a permanent pathway easement given to the city of Nampa. It allows the ownership of the property to stay with the HOA typically is what we've seen, or the business if it's commercial. And then they're able to landscape it to whatever their desire is. And the city is just there to do maintenance on the actual asphalt. And in our master plan and what they agree to in their development agreements are that we can access it for clearance, pruning of trees. If we need to cut trees back for clearance pruning, we can get our asphalt trucks in there to do repairs, keeping the asphalt looking good. Some go all out and plant grass and trees, and that's good and bad. And then some do nothing, and we just kind of keep the shoulders mowed and sprayed to kind of keep the puncture vine off of the pathway and it passable for the public. The good parts of that are some areas are beautiful. They look really nice, do a better job than the city would ever do on landscaping. Bad part is people like to plant trees right up against the asphalt edge, which just eats up asphalt and it's tough. We have people that have put cottonwoods even a far distance away, and then we've gone in and had to replace asphalt in the same area every 3 to 5 years just because of the nature of the roots of those trees. And when you're arguing with private property owners, sometimes they're reasonable and sometimes they're not. Most of the time they are. We have a small forestry division that will go in there, and we've done tree removals and planted new trees for them and try to educate the property owners as much as we can, but it does cost a little more. In the long run, though, we believe it's a better financial fit for our taxpayers to not own and maintain all of that property rather than and deal with a few trees. Did you guys have specific questions about your connections to Meridian? Because our pathway standards are in that online plan. You guys can read through that and kind of see exactly what level we are. I think our minimum is a 10-foot width, preferred is a 12-foot width. There's a lot of areas that were constrained by environmental features or property lines and different things like that, where we have gone down to 8-foot widths in a few areas. So I know that there's been
Yeah, I know that on our GIS map, we do have a Nampa layer of sort of where your pathways come in. But it's been a few years since we requested that, so I might, or since we brought that in, so I might request an updated version just in case anything is, constructed or.
Yeah, and
probably the connections haven't changed.
our GIS division does a lot better job on maintaining those records than this is going to show you.
Right,
Because we have
yeah.
a lot of completed
Yeah,
sections.
so we reach out for a contact.
Yes,
just to
absolutely
update that
happy to
on
share that with
our
you.
notes. Yeah, because that's been nice. I mean, we're not quite there yet in some areas, but.
Yeah.
And then just one comment, so much of what you've said is, it could be Meridian, only you're in Nampa.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the policies, and that's really interesting and sort of validating. I am noticing you asked for wider easements and maybe wider pathways. We've kind of stuck with a 10-foot width within a 14-foot easement. Sometimes there's a wider area, but that's a good note, just to
Yeah.
sort of going forward, think about, they look really wide when you build them, but in actuality, when you start to get much traffic, even 10 feet isn't that, yeah, so just
And
observations.
We ask for the 20 feet because a lot of times if there's a tile ditch in that easement, sometimes you're dodging the path around a
Mhm.
clean out or something like that. So we don't always use the full 20-foot width. And to be really honest with you, when you give the developer the choice to build a 10-foot or a 12-foot, they choose the 10-foot like every time. So there's very few situations where we have the full 12 feet. We've had some great success on our Stoddard pathway, which is the rails to trails conversion, but all the way down to Second Street South in Nampa. So the city has basically the entire abandoned rail line through our community is now owned by the city of Nampa, which was a huge win for us. It was funny because in the early 90s, I think we bought mile sections of that for like $25,000. And this last iteration, we were in the hundreds of thousands of dollars, and they had an Union Pacific really changed how they look at their appraisal process, and they appraise it just like any other property, kind of across the fence. So if it's development on the other side, you pay per square foot what, housing is, and if it's commercial on the other side, you pay per square foot what commercial is for that property. So it's definitely, it's made it more challenging, but we've gotten there and we've preserved that corridor. And what's interesting is just south of, I think it'd be Lewis Lane in Nampa, they have sold off to the adjoining larger parcel property owners, developers, farmers, different people down there. And so that corridor is gone. And it's just like we got in just under the wire, I guess, on acquiring what was available through the heart of our city. So it's been fantastic. Crystal Craig is our transportation director, and she used to work with ITD, and she's fantastic with our, looking as we kind of get through the more difficult stretches of town. The Indian Creek pathway is, we kind of have it on the west side of town, we kind of have it on the east side of town, but through the heart and through the corridor of our city, it's an old town that has allowed building right up to the edge of the creek bank and in lots of areas. And so we're having to find creative ways to get that pathway connected through on-street sidewalks, crossings, and it's not ideal, and it really makes you appreciate the value of pre-planning while it's still farm field before that development comes, because once it's there, easement acquisition is so much more expensive, and just the fact if it's even possible to just do. I know that I think Boise has, like, they can't build within so many feet of ditches and waterways, and Nampa, I don't know is that it's the case. I think as long as you're out of their easement for maintenance, you can put a structure right close to every ditch. And so it's made it very important. Those pathways and areas wouldn't be there if we weren't asking for those easements during the planning process. So, and we're looking an interesting story. I am fairly new to my position. I've only been the director since last April. I've worked for City of Nampa for a long time, and so I've never really been tied in with impact area discussions with the county. And I am going to that some meetings here in the next few weeks. But interestingly enough, our neighbors to the north and your neighbors, I guess, to the east, Star, is very interested in the same pieces of land that Nampa has already kind of shown on their area of impact. And so that's part of, they're going to be at the county and Nampa will be at the county. And one of the important aspects that I think that I'm being invited to talk about is that Boise River Greenbelt connection that we've had in our planning process for the last several years. The city's looking at property well north of what Nampa is proper. I think a connection for the water to the river is a huge draw for Nampa to have that area in our area of impact rather than in Stars. So anxious to see how those meetings go and those conversations take place. I naively thought that area of impact, once it was kind of approved, it was sort of set, and that's apparently not the case. And so I don't know if you guys do that regularly or how we were looked at, but learning that area of impact can be flexible, and the rate of growth, there's just such a land grab or interest in the land that from these different communities that you kind of have to plant a flag, I guess, wherever you're looking to grow and have justification for all of that.
Yeah, Meridian does have its one little sort of flag up to the river too, in the impact area, so. I think is it still in the impact area? But it seems like there's some benefits to each community, maybe being able to touch that thing out for it.
But yeah,
It started right next door.
Yeah.
I think there's a little bit of.
Oh, so we may be in the same discussion.
I don't know.
yeah, I'm not sure either. I know in the past Nampa's kind of arm wrestled with Caldwell on our west side, and I feel like that maybe has been decided between the two communities, but the county can always have different opinions, and I think they're the overseers of where your impact fees really, or where your impact area is actually. placed, so.
Sure. Well,
Yes.
Question regarding the master plan for trails. So I assume, I know we have one, Boise has one, Ada County had not had one. But well, we're looking at going into a different county, well, the trail continues to go west. I was wondering. Because he made a good point that he's not really, they haven't done any real planning for trails. On, let's say they're at northeast boundary, which would abut our property, when we look at the 5 mile trail. So just going to stop, you think, or?
Well, it was, if I can, that's exactly what I was going to bring up, is
Okay.
kind of a question for Kim and kind of a follow-up question for Cody is. You mentioned that we have the Nampa GIS layer. Has there been any kind of a, a formal comparison for the gaps of where they line up and don't line up?
Not recently,
No?
but that is that'd be a good thing to make sure we cover as we finalize the pathways master plan. And maybe when Nampa will include the 5 mile area, but it's kind of outside of pending development.
Yeah.
5 Mile Creek, is that what you were saying? Cody?
So that was the follow-up question is if we identify, I mean, the 5 Mile Creek is the one that, certainly jumps out at me as. It's becoming a major pathway through us. It'll be in the far northwest. Northeast corner of Nampa, when it reaches you, but it's certainly one that would make sense to talk about continuing.
Yeah, I'd like to look at a map and see where that is, because you can zoom in on this if you
Yeah.
have it pulled up and you can kind of see where it lies, but I don't think it's one of our dashed lines on our map here.
And who would, if we want to have that conversation, is it with you or is it someone on your staff?
It'd probably be with me and Tim. One of the things that I'd like to do eventually is have another refresh of this, and whether we go back out and hire a consultant like we did with Alta or do it in-house. I feel like we've had such explosive growth that needs to happen, and I'd like to know what our neighbors are doing so that we can have that, because I don't want a pathway that dead ends, and then if you want to get Meridian's connecting pathway, you gotta go a mile up the road or something like
Right,
that.
yeah, we'd like to avoid that.
Yeah, that's not.
Well, it may mean that it makes more sense for Nampa to access the 5 mile pathway via a different connection, maybe connect sort of between one of your major pathways, if that one doesn't get back in the road. But, yeah, I think it would be.
Yeah, I think I would
Talk more specifically.
add that to the winter to-do list.
Will do.
And yet,
Yes.
Sorry, Mr.
No, I was gonna say that, Nampa's following waterways and we are too.
Yeah.
So by default, they're lined up. We just don't know, there's not enough detail to say, are we on the north side or the south side? And that detail likely won't come until development comes. So that's gonna be hard to, we could say north side on the map, but if a development comes in on the south side, we're gonna condition a pathway there. It might be that we end up with both sides at those connections just to connect.
yeah, or a bridge, I know
Or a
nobody likes
bridge of some
bridges, but because they're expensive, but that's always a possibility.
Yeah,
too.
it's gonna be really hard at this stage until development comes to say, oh yeah, we're both on the north side. And then we get a development that's in on the south side and we condition a pathway, and then Cody he'll say, well, I thought we were on the north. It's like, well, we had an opportunity to
Yeah.
condition this, we weren't gonna let it go and just wait for the north side. We're gonna do both, but just general alignment, we're probably aligned because you're following waterways.
Yeah, and if the 5 miles not one that is on our master plan, but is on yours, that could be added at a future future plan update for Nampa, just so that we can connect it. And sometimes these drains I've learned are known by different names too, and like what you guys call the 9 mile. We call the 9 mile, I think it has a different name as it enters into Canyon County. And so it took me kind of following, what are you called? I looked at your map, yeah, that's whatever we have it labeled on here, so.
That's right, GIS maps.
Occasionally they're mislabeled too. So-
That's happened too. And then the other big challenge that we're looking at is Highway 16. It starts off in our area of impact and then it sort of veers to the east and jumps into your guys' neighborhood. And so how do you get under that? Or how do you have pathway connection through that? Because that's a major barrier. And I mean, we've talked, there's development proposed right around Highway 16 and Cherry Lane right now on the Canyon County side. And, you know, we're telling them, well, there's only one option there because ITB only built the bridge for the pathway to be on the south side of the 10-mile drain right there. So that we didn't have choice on that because that's the only option to get underneath the new highway.
And that's what our 5 miles do, so
Okay,
under the highway.
Yeah, our 5 mile is underneath, but it's on the north, so. But that's solely in Meridian. It's
It is,
2 miles from Napa, or a mile and a half, maybe.
yeah,
it is good to know though, that those are 2 of our major pathways and that we've got some opportunities under that big structure,
yeah.
which I don't know if anybody's been out there, but it's really coming together. It's kind of unreal.
Is that the one that's Black Cat?
It's connecting from the interstate to where State Highway 16 meets Chinden,
Oh, okay.
but it's on structure, a lot of it.
It's very freeway-like.
big
It's
and-
not what you think of as a traditional state highway. From what I understand, when you get off of I-84, it's like a flying loop to get off. There's gonna be an exit on Franklin, we'll skip Cherry,
So, yeah.
an exit on Ustick. Skip, you know, the next one and then an exit at 2026. So, yeah, it's gonna be.
Yeah.
Yes, Commissioner Bennett.
So I'm familiar with your colors there. What are all of those? What's each of those colors?
If you scroll, there's a legend just
Oh, okay.
at the bottom. On the left here, there we go.
Oh, okay, perfect.
So one of the interesting things is this lighter green that is a lot of the color on this map. Before, this was built before, but our planning and zoning has now changed the code. So any development happening along a arterial has to put the side path in. So it's not anything that Parks and Rec has to call out anymore because we've updated code. So, I mean, it shows it everywhere on the arterial roads.
Is the side path a sidewalk that's a little wider?
Yeah, it's usually a detached sidewalk that's at that 10-foot width. And they
Following
start,
the arterial.
yeah, following the arterial. And sometimes, and they're allowing asphalt, which it's not all, I mean, that side path is not always concrete like you would expect. And that's probably, you know, each city's decision on what to do with that sort of thing. And then the blue are, I think, bike lanes and I think that bike lanes have fallen out of favor with our engineering division. And as we go forward, because they believe the side paths take the place of the bike lanes, but. So this needs updated just because it's outdated on our own, our terminology and what was required at the time this was adopted versus what we're doing today.
So the side path allows for both pedestrian and bicycles, correct? Okay.
Yes.
And how wide are those side paths?
Minimum 10 feet.
Minimum 10 feet, okay. So one way each side.
They're not striped, we don't require anything like that, but they're, and Nampa, you know, it's an old town, so if you get to the heart of town, we still have areas with 0 sidewalks on arterial streets and residential areas that, so. Yeah, that's, for us, that feels really wide, and not every community feels that way, so.
So because of the way Napa is laid out, it's not like a grid. Has that caused a lot of challenges to putting these kinds of things together?
Yeah, that's a great question. Nampa's weirdest town ever as far as everything was built, you know, in line with the railroad tracks. And then somebody decided at some point we're gonna shift to true north and south. So everything's got this weird, the center part matches nothing else in the rest of the new growth areas. Well, that has been less of a problem than just following the natural waterways. A good example is Lake Lowell and Midland Boulevard. We have a well-used pathway, Wilson. It's the Wilson Drain, but they call it Wilson Creek pathway. And we have a situation where we have a corner stoplight, and then we have the rapid flashing beacon signal hit. They cut that corner and then they hit another one across the road, and it can just cause a traffic snarl because of the proximity of the pathway and the traffic light. So, yeah, you can run into some things there, and there's been lessons learned, I think, on that are with the engineering team is maybe when we're this close, we need to put it out on the sidewalk, blow the sidewalk out to a side path and have the route follow the intersection rather than backing traffic up, crossing so close to an intersection. But yeah, the grid stuff downtown, you know, I wouldn't say that's been a major problem. It's just wayfinding, and that's been our hardest part. It's just my pathway led me out to a street, and the natural connection is not visible from here. I might need to follow a sidewalk 200 yards, you know, to the west in order to link back up to the sidewalk. The best example of that is our Wilson pathway on 12th Avenue by Walmart. You can come out, you can hit Greenhurst, and you've got to kind of make that corner around Walmart to keep heading west on the Wilson pathway, but it's not visible from when you exit, and so some wayfinding has been needed. Yeah, great questions. Anything else on the pathways? I want to be respectful of everybody's time to still talk about some capital things too.
I don't know what else you have planned, but I'd love to hear some of your other highlights beyond pathways.
Okay.
What excites you that's coming?
We have a big exciting one that's coming up is our golf course irrigation system. And I think you guys were just there a few years ago, and we have open bids, and we had budgeted $5 million to redo this system. Low bid came in at $3.8 million from Mid-America, company out of Missouri. And the consultant that we're working with is the same consultant Meridian used. And they have a recommendation to council. I'm hoping for approval on that on December 1st at our December 1st meeting. So we have a March start date scheduled for them to kind of get going. Our golf team has been just super proactive. We've built a 19th green and hole out there for times when we have one of them closed down due to irrigation projects. So no discount. You still have 18 holes to play through. So hoping for
Which course?
a Centennial, yeah, Centennial Golf Course. We're hoping for a good year, weather-wise, and then if you're familiar with where Nampa's Centennial Golf Course is, it's on this rocky high ground in Nampa, and it's just rocky and volcanic, and I'm hoping that the rock contingency is enough to get the pipe in the ground, just because we've been maintaining it, and we know there's rock down there, so. But yeah, that's an exciting one for us. It's been in process. That original irrigation system was put in 85 or 86, I think, by volunteers without a engineer design. So the fact that we made it 40 years and it's still functioning we're doing good. So it's definitely time for us to get professionally designed, modern. It's gonna have weather stations and the HDPE pipe and the wire system, just like you guys did with it. So it's gonna be fantastic. Yes.
How many golf courses do you have?
We have two. Yep, we have two, and they're right next to each other. So if you're on the freeway, you can get them confused because it looks like maybe just one long golf course, but Ridgecrest is the first one that you see if you're heading west. And then once you cross under 11th Avenue's overpass, it's Centennials. And then another project is, and it's kind of been deferred from last year, but using impact fees, City of Nampa is looking to buy property for a soccer park, which is really exciting. And you think it'd be easy to go spend $3 million to buy 40 acres, but it's turning out like it's not that easy. One of the things that we're running into is finding 40 acres that's not in Cuna, or it feels like it's in Cuna or Meridian or Caldwell. City Council, I found a great piece of property clear on, it touched McDermott. You're on the west side of McDermott, and everyone's like, that feels like we're in Cuna or Meridian. That's just too far out. So getting my council convinced that that's a good piece of ground that's actually available and for sale has been tough. One unique, exciting thing, though, is the Nampa School District has a 43-acre parcel close to town. It'd be a fantastic park location. they're interested in a property swap with the city of Nampa, so we are planning to go to council on January 20th, I believe, for a proposal to city council to consider their property swap idea. They like, if you guys are familiar with Nampa, right across from Lakeview Park, there's the old rodeo stampede grounds where they used to have the rodeo, and there's the Lost Hole Field and small park, and Nampa School District would like that as their home fields for Nampa High School. So we're gonna see if that gets any traction. If it does, that might be a fantastic win for Nampa, because now I can spend my money that I was gonna buy property with to start a first phase for that soccer facility. Soccer is a big deal for us. They have, right now, we are reliant on CWI's green space out along Canada Boulevard for use of soccer. And that's, we've seen their master plan, and they have buildings where our soccer is being played. So we know our time is limited on how long we can continue our soccer program on their property. So soccer park is absolutely a high need for Nampa. I had my whole year, you'll see it when I email you out my list, but another exciting thing is we're looking at a bocce ball, cornhole, horseshoe pit combo thing in West Park to be added this year. We always buy pieces of equipment, mowers, trucks, different, things needed to keep the parks looking good. We're still working on Midway Parks Phase 3, which has been a very slow process, but we have challenges with our contractor, and it's just been kind of a challenging phase to kind of get to the completion point. So we're anxious to have that one get wrapped up, hopefully by next spring. We're hoping grass seed goes down in the spring and we're able to use it. We're finding that it takes a good year and a half. We're speccing turf type tall fescue grass. I think I did the same for your Discovery Park type of stuff. I think it might be the same product actually. And it's fantastic stuff, but it seems like it's slow to establish, comes in patchy is what we've noticed. And you guys might write a tighter spec on your field or your ground prep, but we're trying to grow this stuff in like the worst clay compacted construction battleground soil you've ever seen. And it's taken us a good year and a half to get the stand healthy enough that I really want to play baseball out on things. Yes.
When do you start the improvements at West Park? Because that's my area.
That's
So
your
curious.
neck of,
Yeah.
yeah, well, I have a design completed, and we are going through the procurement process now, so we're hoping to start here this winter or maybe early spring. Yeah, we have, there's a lot of kind of smaller things that are on our capital list, just maintenance and improvements and things. The rec center is 30+ years old, and we're just finding that boilers and EFIS stucco on building and different things are at their end of life, and we're gonna get a capital improvement plan put together so we can keep what we have looking good. It's, one of the things that's new or that we like to do is keep. It's easy to get distracted by all the fun and new things, but if you let the maintenance get deferred on your existing stuff too far, then you just can't come back from it. So we're trying to keep up with that sort of thing too. And we're welcoming a new mayor starting in January in Nampa, which is a big change for us. We've had the mayor clean for the last 8 years, and we are getting one new council person and 2. So it's always a little bit of a different feel for city staff to feel out the new administration. We get somebody new, and I'm expecting good things because this our new mayor is a past city employee and chief of staff, so he's very familiar with where he's. I took up a lot of time, and I apologize for not having my slideshow, but I'll stand for any questions if the commission has any.
Do we have any questions from the commission? Sounds like we covered, yes.
Just a comment, that was really great organizing for a presentation for not having any.
Yeah.
Well done. Thank you. Continuing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep, we don't have any further questions. Thank you so much, Cody. With that, we will move on to our Lakeview Golf Course update by Ryan Roberts, the Lakeview Golf Course General Manager and head for golf profession.
We need just a minute to bring the PowerPoint up.
He's not just gonna win.
Yeah, let's see if he can do as good as Cody.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you, for having me. I was asked to.
Let's get you over here so we make sure we pick you up on the.
No, it's back here, Steve.
Oh, yeah, you know, it's back there.
Yeah,
All right, just talk loud.
I'll talk loud. I was asked to do this presentation, just to kind of give you a little bit of, you know, our story, kind of give you a little brief history of kind of where we were and, where we're at now and the things that we've done. I know that some of you have been out there to Lakeview, raise your hand if you've been out to Lakeview, yeah, right, kind of seeing, right? So just kind of also tell you, you know, if it helps to, see, you know, what we do and where we came from and now what we do, for you to help other people, for you to come out on, you know, a way for you to come out and enjoy Lakeview. It's really a place, you know, for everyone. You don't just have to be a golfer. You got a restaurant, we do bingo, we do all kinds of events and stuff out there, so it's, you know, a great spot for you to come out and, get that. No problem. Alright. So the first thing, when the city came on, before Lakeview was struggling in lots of areas. So we needed to do lots of upgrades to kind of get it where it's at, so, glad to see Natalie, you guys are getting ready to do this over there, so, needed a big upgrade with the irrigation system, so we now have an irrigation system that changed everything for us. We're using less water, distributed more efficiently, with the best turf conditions that we've seen in years. It supports long-term sustainability and protects the course, for the next 20 to 30 years. There's not 1 inch that's missed of water out there, you know, on the golf course now. So, comes with some challenges now with some, you know, we've kind of heard, we talk about the soils out there that we have. The water does not like to go into that real well, so that's what we're dealing with now, you know, finding those problem areas and dealing with those, so. But, the overall irrigation is just, it's working phenomenal and, it's made major improvements and, really nice for us. All right. The next big challenge that we had was our golf cart fleet. Before, we had golf carts that wouldn't barely make 9 holes. Right, so we were out there running around, switching golf carts out, making sure they could go another 9 to complete their 18 holes if they were playing 18. So we were able to get a new golf cart fleet for us. It's been a major improvement for both the golfers and our operation. It's improved pace of play and overall player experience out there. Consistent to our presentation that reflects our, you know, positively on the course in the city. Enhanced reliability and reduced maintenance costs for us. Some modern features on there. It's got USB ports to smoother ride, wider operation. They're all electric. And increased customer satisfaction and repeat play. The next big thing is before we had gravel cart paths throughout. This made it, you know, a little noisy, made it lots of dust and whatnot. So we wanted to make sure that we could, you know, have a pleasant experience out there. Starting from the tee area to the greens. You know, we weren't able to do, you know, complete tee to greens, but we got them all around, you know, starting from the tees and the green area. And improved traffic flow, reduced wear and tear of the golf course. You know, this year we did 51,000 rounds. If you think about that, you know, that portion of the amount of people out there driving on the golf course consistently, This kind of helps, staying on the cart paths in those areas, so not getting, damage to the course from that area. Supports better tournament traffic and also, all weather play as well. Another big thing that we needed, was, just equipment all around. We upgraded the mowers and equipment to allow our crew to prep the course faster, safer each morning. These upgrades directly improve daily play conditions, and efficiency. Before we just had one rough mower. Rough shoots out of the ground, during prime season. So we want to make sure that we're able to maintain that playability. So we're able to get some more mowers, some more greens mowers, and just overall all equipment that helps the operation run smoother and faster and get the job done. Next thing was clubhouse improvement. On the bottom there is the old clubhouse. On the bottom right there is the old carpet, the old furniture. And then on the bottom left there is that we ripped everything out of there and we're getting ready for the new carpet, new furniture to come in. The top two slides there, the pictures there are, new carpet, the new furniture. Just makes it more aesthetically look great, our check-in area, created a cleaner, more modern look for us, strengthen our ability to host events and tournaments up there as well. Next thing were 12-house bathrooms. Used to have some porta potties out there, of course, and so really nice to have these all up and operating and open now. All on holes 5, 8, 11, and 17. Clean, durable, huge boost in golfer comfort and the overall experience. This picture was the install on number 17. So making sure they have their toes and fingers out underneath there. So all these improvements, we used to obviously do tournaments and programs and events, but now it makes it really more exciting for us to be able to host, to present tournaments, programs, and events out at Lakeview. And we do everything, junior programs, ladies programs, and leagues. We had a huge veteran tournament yesterday, our first annual veteran tournament that we hosted. Had 75 veterans out there playing golf, had 26 golf professionals from around the valley playing. It was just a phenomenal event and it went really well. Weather helped with that as well, so
Beautiful day,
beautiful day out there, so it's quite amazing for November. So yes, this just helps everything for Lakeview, continues to grow as a community hub for us to enjoy out there. Just kind of give you an idea of some other stuff that we do out there. PGA Junior League, PGA Junior Camps. I also host a BSU class. That bottom left picture there is a BSU class that we host out there. It's a college accredited class where we can sign up and come out and I run through. It's a 7-week class and we run through an Operation 36 program out there as well. All this is done, from sun up to sundown, our trained, organized team, makes the entire operation run at a high level. The heartbeat of what we do out at Lakeview. Out there, the top left, yes, when it snows, we still open it up and get you out there hitting some balls. So. So what this did for us, it increased our rounds in revenue, growth immensely. Like I mentioned, we did 51,000 rounds this year. When I first started there 8 years ago, to do 30,000 rounds was my goal. I never thought I would get to 50,000 and we did 51,000 rounds this year. So it was very exciting. All these programs and stuff, all leads to that for what we do out there. Is there room to do more? Probably just a little bit. I run into, being able to the maintenance crew and the stuff that they make sure that we're able to get out there and go for us. So increase Remains one of our busiest, most successful forces. Top right. Primitive dinners, that out there.
Computers on. Let's see.
And the
bunker next to the green, because you have a smaller bunker with a small green. What an actual bunker in the course would look like. So you guys thought about putting one?
We've had lots of ideas, that I'd like to. I'd like to expand the range, Bring it back a little bit so we can expand the range out that way. Make number one green or T-box T area a little bit bigger, expand that area, so. Lots and stuff going on, so, haven't thought about a bunker over there, because we have a bunker in another area already, but.
Questions.
Oh, you know, there's. 20 to 30%. Yeah, not really going.
Do you know how far the walk is? Hard healthy discount for people who are not taking it. Rather than,
Do something like that. They don't, obviously don't get charged a cart rate, if you don't take a cart right now, so we just have this, walking rate.
That's for like the baby showers and that kind of stuff. Is it,
Um, so it's a little bit different. We've done that. And so with the newer fleet, the newer